Great Scott, I say, things have been much better around here in the lair now that you aren't shooting my well-trained and valuable minions. Well, what do you say, Sir Daniel? I think it's time we make you a full-fledged member of the team. Sir Daniel's side story begins around the mid-game point of the campaign, and then it will conclude once you reach more of the later stages is when you're able to pick up that final side story mission where you get to add him to your crew of henchmen. Sir Daniel is on the hunt, but he is only interested in the most dangerous game possible. Let's get into recruiting this awesome henchman. So your early missions, his early side stories are quite daunting. The times where you have to fight him attacking your lair are guaranteed to cause a number of minion casualties. He will appear at random locations within your lair using his camouflage, making it impossible for your minions to spot him until he decides to unleash his damage into them, shooting down minions, hunting down the scientists and deception minions who try to flee from him. I had the unfortunate combination of his attack coinciding with a super agent group, and again, by coincidence, of course, they were in the same area of my lair at the same time, and that damage was just overwhelming for my security forces. We lost a lot of good minions. It looked like a war crime as I was going back through the hallways just strewn with body bags. But once you show him that you are the superior hunter, you enter that tenable alliance period where he is within your lair but not is under your direct control, and then through this final side story you are able to recruit him to your team. Let's check it out.
I have had an epiphany about the most dangerous game.
At the next Minion Mahjong tournament?
No, I will hunt the second most dangerous game, Justice Agents. Oh, but only to capture.
No more trophies?
If they're released back into the wild, I can keep hunting them. Oh, find me worthy prey.
Kill Agent X in the lair, Sir Daniel. We will find you your worthy prey. We will set the true British intelligence against the roguish Yankees. Well, after scouting our base for about 5 minutes, it turns out that Agent X is still out here hanging out in Canada, so Agent X, would you mind stepping into our lair?
Now we've got his attention. A witness has gotten up the courage to testify against us in court. Fortunately, a Furukawa sushi house is just around the corner. Have them send your witness a special delivery. Agent X has built his case. Now he's gathering a team of hard-boiled investigators to aid his infiltration. He's still coming, but there is still time to disrupt his team. Bring what you can. Sir Daniel wants a challenge. What? We've got our first sight of Agent X's investigators. Where there are the red, white, and blue investigators, Agent X is never far behind. So is it just me, or do these guys look like they belong more at a carnival than infiltrating a evil lair?
You're doomed.
No, Sir Daniel, the battle is the other way. Engage! Engage! This was all for you! Okay, well, regardless of Sir Daniel's lack of help, he seemed to take the wrong turn there in the lair. We defeated Agent X, and now he wants us to beg Symmetry. Well, my little nemesis Symmetry, let's see how well you fare when Sir Daniel is unleashed on the hunt. Stealing my lock combinations from an unsuspecting minion, are you? Well, we will see how far that manages to get you within our new security systems we've installed in the lair. The fun has arrived.
Your gold. Rogues are stealing your gold.
Oh, it's so painful just to let them walk away with all this gold. But I have a surprise in store for them. I have to be patient to be able to see my new trap's effectiveness. Okay, they seem to be loaded down with everything they can carry, but will they be able to resist the fake safe? My final weapon against the roguish archetypes. Oh, they have revealed themselves. So he remotely deactivated the person. No, my trap was foiled. Oh no, it was ingenious.
Imbeciles. I want that intruder locometry immediately.
Okay, so the elaborate machine here was supposed to be rogue goes to open safe, drops their disguise, person magnet, sucks them through flamethrower. What actually happened was rogue deactivated both of these traps, and they did reveal their disguise due to the security camera here, so basically the jig was up and there was no more messing with traps. For another time, maybe. Want Symmetry, hack the safe. You know you want to do it.
You can try to fight me.
Well, yet again,
Like how
Sir Daniel seems to be nowhere to be found. Clearly, Symmetry was not enough of a challenge to goad him into combat. Okay, so this resemblance has to be intentional, right, guys? Right?
A scheme has succeeded.
Maybe Atomic Olga will present enough challenge to Sir Daniel that he will actually show his face and help out with one of these. So what would happen at this point in the game if you had actually defeated one of the super agents through finishing their side story? Like, do you get a bonus way of getting to fight them again, or can you just never recruit Sir Daniel if you complete one of those other
The
missions
heat
first?
at a criminal network.
Some counter agent you are. Atomic Olga, I have found your weakness. Bullets and fists. For those of you keeping track at home, that is so far 0 of these encounters Sir Daniel has managed to contribute to. Oh yes, I am Wrecking Bola here as a minion, new recruit. Take me to the center of the lair.
Task complete.
Ah yes, two hitmen take down Wrecking Bola. Not much of a super agent here. Well, I say, John Steele, arriving in style for once. Welcome to Crown Gold, my final trophy. I mean, my esteemed guest. Get him, counter agent. Get him. So I didn't think the awkward conversation animation could get any more awkward, except when they are talking to a man with scuba flippers and a snorkel hat. So it seems that Counter Agent was the only one brave enough to speak to this weirdo. I don't really blame the rest of my staff. They get a pass on the executions this time. Ancient martial arts master versus cutting-edge super spy. Only here in Evil Genius 2. And every other 80s action movie.
That agent has perished, but there are plenty more where they came from.
Oh, smashing, an absolutely smashing hunt. If this keeps up, oh, I'm with you till the end.
I'm not sure how I feel about not killing them.
Nonsense. They'll come back stronger, and you'll be stronger to hunt them again. Win-win.
It's a win when they're dead, too.
The hunt truly never ends. And to show you my appreciation, please accept this gift.
Welcome to the team, Sir Daniel. Let's see what you can do. Alright, so right off, Sir Daniel has a decent stat line, 300, 300, 300. This is pretty standard for your henchmen. Alright, so Sir Daniel has an ability here, Trap. Construct furniture. He creates a bear trap in your corridors that can capture enemy agents. Now, the cool thing about this is that you can build multiple traps at once. They do have durability here, so this is kind of their lifespan, I believe. I haven't seen techs go to repair them, and the durability is lower than what your other pieces of furniture are. but that seems to be the only limit on their lifespan, and otherwise you can build many of them at a time. The cooldown is quite long to be able to get it off. As you can see, it's barely ticking over compared to a lot of other agent abilities that refresh a lot faster.
Well, I say, why is that greenery sparking? It must be close to being destroyed.
Well, Atomic Olga, this time Sir Daniel is going to engage in the fight.
Oh, what an interesting trap! Never seen a hallway look like this one before.
So the agents are still able to disable these traps.
Yes, Sir Daniel, you have a target. Camouflage yourself so they never see you coming.
So Sir Daniel can use the camouflage that you get to interact with when you're doing the early recruitment missions for him. He gets a little plant on his head, and what this means is that agents will not spot him, so they will not engage with him, and his attack coming out of stealth gets sneak attack similar to the rogue in Dungeons & Dragons, and he will do bonus damage. We're going to line him up against Atomic Olga here and see what we get. So Daniel's damage here is pretty impressive. He has a good rate of fire. Why yes, little investigator, what an interesting door. Want to see what's behind this one, don't we? There we go. So the bear trap is incredibly effective. It diminishes the investigator's skill and vitality all the way down and immediately marks them for capture as well. So being able to lay these out in your hallways is going to be very useful for being able to pick up the investigators. So this is an average investigator, was not able to disarm it, but again, I saw the group with a super agent able to disarm the bear traps, similar to other traps, so that they're able to get more of a fair fight off. Interesting to note that while Sir Daniel's traps do have durability and it starts to decrease, it doesn't go below this threshold of 59, and so they don't actually break down on their own. This leads me to believe that you can have as many traps as you want. You could completely pave your corridors in greenery, which on the one hand would look beautiful and would also just devastate any agents that try and infiltrate into your lair.
And here we see Sir Daniel stalking his first prey, another encounter with Wrecking Bola. Not wanting to be discovered, Sir Daniel first camouflages himself expertly to avoid detection.
Rifle at the ready.
So his first attack out of stealth does bonus damage there. He got 100 damage off on Wrecking Bola. And with the follow-up attacks, brings her down immediately because this guy's attack speed is amazing, especially for a bolt-action rifle. Now, Sir Daniel still uses the exact same animation in melee. He still has good attack speed, though he's going to be definitely more comfortable attacking from range here. Let's see if we can get him to a safer spot and then get to watch his damage output here.
Spotted me, eh? Chop, chop. No time for dilly-dally.
Alright, our combat with Wrecking Bola got muddled around the doorway pathing, so we have another adversary for Sir Daniel to test his strength against. Alright, I think that we've gotten to showcase how his abilities function and the amount that they increase his utility. And now we just need to be able to show off what his damage per second is without any abilities helping him out.
Blue Saint.
So, the punching bag of choice is Blue Saint.
Your minion.
Consider them head-hunted.
Your henchman.
Ooh,
is in
Sir Daniel
combat.
putting out a lot of damage here. Brings the super agent down extremely quickly. Now we're going to see how much he can keep it up against the rest of Blue Saint's posse here. But we are going to need to distract these guys with Jubei here so that he doesn't get bogged down in melee. Alright, here we go.
Like the wind. Rifle at the ready.
Alright, so Sir Daniel got 2 shots into this guy, dropped him immediately. They've got 100 health, so he's doing 50 damage a shot, which is pretty well in line with... Oh, it looks like he's putting out a little bit more. Over here, let's get a fresh hit on him. And you fire at this guy. So it looks like he's actually doing about 70 damage an attack. And he continues to fire quite quickly. So there you go. I hope that wasn't too choppy or abrupt with me selecting through the different enemies there. They all had 100 health and they hadn't been damaged by anybody else besides Sir Daniel, at least not the ones that I was selecting. I was trying to pick the ones he had been targeting. So his basic attack does about 70 damage to those enemy types, and then it will increase if you use camouflage. It looked like it did about 100 damage, or it could be doubling to around 150, 140 damage if you use camouflage. Sir Daniel's traps are really, really cool. Their ability to attack both agent vitality and skill and then automatically mark them for being captured. And on top of all that, root them in place so that your guards just have to walk by and pick them up is really, really cool, as long as you don't mind putting out the effort in micromanagement to have him lay a number of trap lines throughout your corridors, and that you also don't mind the way your corridors then look with those heavily damaged traps kind of smoking up the place and cluttering up the floor. I can see where some people would definitely choose not to use it just because they don't like the way it's going to look in their lair, and then other people are probably going to like it and actually want to pave their entire corridors with traps. His camouflage ability is interesting. It's going to be another micro-intensive approach to a combat situation. You can have him turn it on just to get that damage boost. The ability where he's actually camouflaged and so the agents don't see him is very nuanced as to when you would care about this. But if agents had infiltrated your lair and you wanted Sir Daniel to stay safe until your security forces or other henchmen were there to be able to assist him, I could definitely see you popping camouflage and then having him wait for that opportune moment where he can then start to put out massive damage firing from the back line. His attack speed is really good. His damage is great. He's basically the ranged version of Jubei here. Minus, of course, the wind walk and flow abilities, which make Jubei so exceptional as a melee fighter. The fact that Sir Daniel here is able to contribute with a range attack does add different benefits in a combat situation, because agents have a limit of how many enemies or how many of your security forces can attack them in melee. So there's times where Jubei is going to be locked out of being able to contribute to a fight, but Sir Daniel here with a range attack is always going to be able to add his damage from the back line. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, comment on how you've used Sir Daniel to defeat the Paragons of Justice, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you guys, and have a good one.